Before we begin today's story, I need you to listen for just a moment. Many of you have been asking us to continue this channel, and that truly means a lot. We know these stories matter to you. Stories about our ancestors, forgotten lives, hidden histories and voices from the past that deserve to be remembered. But after YouTube demonetized the channel, it became very difficult to keep producing. Every video takes research, writing, narration, editing, and a team working behind the scenes. And all of that has real costs. We want to keep going. We don't want these stories to disappear. That's why we created a quick poll in the description of this video. Your answer will help us decide the future of this channel and the best way to continue. Please take a few seconds to vote. Your voice matters, and it may help keep these forgotten stories alive. Now, let's begin today's story. The air on Shadow Creek Plantation hung thick with the scent of tobacco leaves drying in the autumn sun of 1837. Virginia's rolling hills stretched like a verdant prison around the sprawling estate, where the great white mansion gleamed under the watchful eyes of ancient oaks draped in Spanish moss. Colonel Harlan Beaumont, a stern widower turned remarried master of over 200 souls, strode the veranda with the confidence of a man who believed the world bent to his will. His new wife, Catherine, stood beside him, elegant, 38, with porcelain skin and eyes that had once sparkled with the promise of high society, but now dulled by the monotony of plantation life. Their daughter, Emily, 18 and blooming with the fire of youth, fidgeted in her lace gown, her betrothal to young Thomas Whitaker, the talk of Richmond's elite. Into this world arrived Elijah, tall, broad-shouldered, with skin like polished mahogany and eyes that seemed to pierce through flesh into the soul. The overseer had purchased him from a breeder in Charleston for a king's ransom. "Best stud in the South," the man had boasted. "Strong seed, healthy stock. He'll swell your quarters with prime hands by spring." Elijah's reputation preceded him like a storm cloud. Whispers among the enslaved traveled faster than the wind. This one carried something more than muscle. A presence, a pull. Elijah was assigned quarters near the slave cabins, a sturdy shack with a dirt floor and a single cot. By day, he toiled in the fields, his back glistening under the lash of the overseer's watchful gaze. By night, his true duty began. The colonel's orders were explicit: breed with the healthiest women in the quarters, produce strong offspring to sell or keep. Elijah moved through the task with a quiet efficiency that masked deeper currents. His voice, low and resonant, carried stories from distant African shores, tales of spirits that walked between worlds, of bonds that transcended chains. The women listened, drawn despite themselves. Catherine first noticed him during a routine inspection of the quarters. She had ventured there on a whim, seeking relief from the stifling heat of the big house. Elijah stood apart, mending a harness, his hands steady and powerful. Their eyes met. A shiver ran through her, unbidden and unwelcome. "You're the new one," she said, her voice steadier than her pulse. "See that you work hard. The colonel expects results." "Yes, ma'am," Elijah replied, his gaze lingering just a fraction too long. In that moment, something shifted. Catherine felt it, a warmth spreading through her veins, a forgotten hunger stirring. She turned away sharply, but the image of him haunted her that night as she lay beside the snoring colonel. Weeks passed. The plantation thrummed with the rhythm of harvest. Slaves singing mournful hymns in the fields, the crack of whips, the distant lowing of cattle. Emily, restless and curious, often slipped away to the edges of the property, sketching wildflowers or dreaming of her future as a senator's wife. She encountered Elijah by the creek one evening, where he had been sent to fetch water. "You move like you own the ground," she teased, her aristocratic tone laced with naive flirtation. Don't the chains chafe?" "They chafe less than pretty lies, Miss Emily," he answered softly. His words carried no defiance, yet they pierced her defenses. She laughed it off, but returned the next night and the next. Elijah spoke of freedom not as rebellion, but as an inner flame no master could extinguish. His presence was magnetic, almost hypnotic, as if an unseen force wove through his voice. Catherine's encounters began innocently enough. She summoned him to repair a loose shutter on the mansion's upper floor while the colonel was away in Richmond. Alone in the dim lamplight, conversation turned intimate. "You have a way about you," she confessed, her cheeks flushing, "like you see things others don't." Elijah's touch on her hand was electric. What followed was a torrent of suppressed desire, furtive, passionate, wrapped in the terror of discovery. Catherine, bored and yearning for vitality, surrendered completely. "This is madness," she whispered afterward, yet she sought him again. Emily's fall came soon after. Jealous of her mother's distracted glow, she confronted Elijah in the stables. Accusations turned to confessions, then to stolen kisses amid the hay. "I'm promised to another," she gasped, even as her body betrayed her. Elijah's allure was no ordinary charm. It felt primal, laced with something otherworldly, as if ancestral spirits lent power to his touch. Both women knew the risk. Both ignored it. By winter's approach, subtle changes emerged. Catherine's corsets tightened uncomfortably. Emily complained of fatigue during fittings for her wedding gown. Whispers stirred among the house slaves, knowing glances, hushed prayers. Elijah continued his assigned breedings in the quarters, fathering strong children, but his true legacy grew in secret within the big house. The colonel remained oblivious, focused on ledgers and political alliances, yet tension thickened the air like approaching thunder. One night, as wind howled through the oaks, Catherine and Emily crossed paths in the hallway, each returning from a clandestine meeting. Their eyes locked in shared guilt and strange sisterhood. "He chose us," Catherine murmured, half in awe, half in fear. Elijah sensed the gathering storm. In the slave cabins, he confided in an elder woman, old Maud, whose herbal knowledge ran deep. "This land drinks blood and spits curses," she warned. "Your seed carries old power. It wakes what sleeps." Elijah's eyes gleamed in the firelight. He had not come merely to breed slaves. Something ancient in his bloodline sought reckoning. As the first snow dusted the fields, the women's bellies began to show. The mystery deepened. 2 lives, 1 forbidden father, a plantation teetering on ruin. The colonel's world was about to shatter, and in its ruins, something far darker than scandal would rise. Word count 1498. The Virginia winter of 1837 wrapped Shadow Creek in a blanket of frost, turning the tobacco fields into skeletal reminders of summer's bounty. Inside the grand mansion, fires crackled in every hearth, yet they could not warm the growing chill between its inhabitants. Colonel Beaumont paced his study, oblivious to the undercurrents, plotting expansions that would cement his legacy. Catherine, her figure subtly rounding beneath layers of silk and whalebone, moved with a secretive grace. Emily, pale and radiant in her youth, avoided mirrors that might betray her condition. Elijah's days blurred into a rhythm of labor and longing. By day, he drove the plow with unyielding strength, his body a testament to the breeder's promises. The other enslaved watched him with a mix of awe and suspicion. "That man got the devil in his eyes," one muttered. Yet his presence brought an inexplicable calm to the quarters, where stories of rebellion simmered beneath compliance. At night, the women of the big house drew him like moths to flame. Catherine's obsession deepened first. Their meetings evolved from desperate passion to something almost ritualistic. In the abandoned smokehouse behind the mansion, she would wait, heart pounding. "Harlan sees nothing," she confessed one evening, her hands tracing Elijah's scars. "But I see you, all of you." Elijah's responses were measured, his deep voice weaving tales of his grandmother's people, keepers of spirits that bound families across oceans. "What we do echoes," he said, pulling her close. "Not just flesh. Blood remembers." Their encounters left Catherine transformed, her once languid demeanor now charged with vitality and quiet dread. Emily, torn between duty and desire, found herself seeking Elijah with increasing frequency. One bitter night, as sleet lashed the windows, she slipped into the stables. "Mother suspects something," she whispered, fear and excitement mingling. Elijah held her gently, his touch igniting fires that logic could not quench. "You carry light in you, Miss Emily, but light casts shadows." Their stolen moments were fervent, whispered promises amid the scent of leather and horses. Emily spoke of her betrothal with resentment. "Thomas is cold as these stones. You make me feel alive." Elijah listened, his enigmatic aura deepening her attachment. Unbeknownst to her, the same force that bound her mother now wove through her veins. Tensions escalated within the household. House slaves like young Tilly noticed the women's pallor, their sudden cravings for strange foods, pickled okra from the quarters, herbal teas old Maud brewed in secret. "Ms. Catherine walk indifferent," Tilly confided to her sister. "And Miss Emily, she hum in slave songs in her sleep." Rumors spread like wildfire through the cabins, but fear of the lash kept tongues guarded. Colonel Beaumont, returning from a trip to Williamsburg, sensed discord, but attributed it to winter blues. "Catherine, you seem flushed. The child?" "No, our future." He laughed heartily, unaware. Emily's fiancé, Thomas Whitaker, visited once, his aristocratic bearing clashing with the plantation's raw underbelly. Emily played the part of devoted bride-to-be, but her eyes darted toward the fields where Elijah worked. A single exchanged glance across the lawn nearly undid her. As months wore on, the mystic undercurrent intensified. Elijah began experiencing visions in the dead of night, ancestral figures urging him onward, warning of blood debts unpaid since his forebears were torn from their homeland. He shared fragments with Catherine and Emily separately. "This child will carry more than my face. It carries the weight of chains and the fire to break them." The women, entangled in their dual pregnancies, found solace in each other's silent complicity. Late one night, they met in the parlor while the colonel slept. "We are bound now," Catherine said, placing a hand on her daughter's arm. "By him, by them." Emily nodded, tears glistening. "What have we done?" Outside, the plantation groaned under unnatural strains. Livestock grew restless, horses shying at unseen shadows. Crops showed early blight, despite the colonel's meticulous care. Old Maud muttered incantations over protective charms, her eyes fixed on Elijah. "You waken the old ones, boy. They hungry for justice." The mystery of Elijah's power loomed larger. Was it mere charisma or something supernatural, an inherited curse or blessing that made women forsake all for his touch? The women's bellies swelled in tandem, their secret a ticking bomb. Whispers reached the overseer, who dismissed them as idle talk, but seeds of doubt were planted. Elijah knew the end neared. In a rare moment alone with both women, hidden in the root cellar, he spoke with gravity. "Whatever comes, the truth will free more than bodies. It will free souls." Catherine and Emily clung to him, their shared love a fragile shield against the storm. The Virginia winds howled louder, carrying echoes of distant drums from the quarters. Shadow Creek teetered, its foundations cracked by desire, blood, and the unseen. Word count 1502. Spring thawed the frozen earth of Shadow Creek, revealing tender green shoots that mocked the growing rot within the Beaumont family. The air carried the sweet decay of early blooms, mixed with the earthy toil of planting season. Catherine's condition could no longer be hidden beneath voluminous skirts. Her once slender waist now proclaimed life. Emily, younger and more agile, masked hers longer, but suffered from waves of nausea that left her bedridden for days. The Colonel's suspicion ignited during a family dinner. Candles flickered on the mahogany table as servants served roasted venison. "Catherine, you've been avoiding my bed," he growled, his face reddening. "And you, Emily, pale as a ghost. Is the wedding weighing on you?" Catherine deflected with practiced poise. "The winter fevers linger, dear. Nothing more." Emily echoed her, but her voice trembled. Harlan's eyes narrowed, yet duty called him away again to secure loans in Norfolk. Elijah's role intensified. He was called upon more frequently for special duties, breeding prized field hands while his true offspring grew in forbidden wombs. The enslaved community buzzed with knowledge. Old Maud confronted him by the river. "2 white babies coming, you playing with fire from the other side." Elijah's reply was calm. "Fire purifies, Maud, or consumes." Catherine sought him desperately now, their meetings laced with psychological torment. "I feel it moving," she confessed in the attic, hands on her belly. "It knows you, dreams of jungles and chains." Elijah comforted her, his mystic aura providing solace. "Our blood mixes the old world with this one, stronger for it." Their passion persisted, dangerous and addictive, blending horror with ecstasy. Emily's encounters turned psychological. Guilt gnawed at her purity. "I betrayed Thomas, Mother, everything," she wept to Elijah in the orchard, "but I cannot stop." He held her, whispering of resilience. "Strength isn't in chains or promises. It's in what survives the breaking." Their intimacy carried an edge of the supernatural, visions shared in the throes, glimpses of ancestors demanding acknowledgement. Discovery came violently. The overseer, tipped by a jealous field hand, spied Elijah slipping toward the mansion. Confrontation in the barn led to blows, but Elijah's strength prevailed. Word spread. Soon, house slaves confirmed the pregnancies. The Colonel returned to chaos. A maid slip during laundry revealed the truth. Identical swellings, synchronized cycles. Harlan's rage was biblical. He summoned Catherine to his study. "Whore with a nigger buck?" She stood defiant, the mystic pull emboldening her. "He gave what you never could, life, fire." Emily faced similar wrath, her betrothal crumbling as letters flew to the Whitakers. Scandal rippled through Virginia society. Invitations dried up. Whispers of Beaumont degeneracy spread. Elijah vanished that night. No trace, no struggle. Guards swore the gates remained locked. "Like smoke," one said. The Colonel ordered floggings, searches, but nothing. The women's bellies continued to grow, twin curses on the household. Psychological horror deepened. Catherine and Emily, isolated, turned to each other. "He's still here," Emily insisted, hearing phantom footsteps. The plantations suffered. Fields flooded inexplicably. Slaves fell ill with wasting sickness. Horses found dead, throats unmarked. Whispers in the wind, female voices intertwined, ashamed yet yearning. Old Maud's rituals intensified, herbs and chants warding the big house. His spirit lingers. Blood calls blood. The mystery central, not mere infidelity, but a supernatural lineage awakening vengeful forces from slavery's sins. Word count 1497. Summer scorched Shadow Creek, the sun beating down on wilting crops and frayed tempers. The scandal had erupted fully. News reached Richmond papers in veiled terms, prominent Virginia family besmirched by low intrigue, ruining alliances. The Whitaker engagement dissolved in fury, Thomas's father threatening legal action. Colonel Beaumont, humiliated, drank heavily, his once commanding presence reduced to bluster and violence. Catherine and Emily, confined to quarters under guard, endured interrogations. Who was he truly? Harlan roared. Catherine's answers carried defiance laced with mysticism, a man who saw our emptiness and filled it. Emily broke down, describing the irresistible pull, the way Elijah's eyes held centuries. Psychological strain mounted. Mother and daughter shared nightmares of pursuit, of bloodlines merging in unnatural ways. Elijah's disappearance fueled legends among the enslaved. He walked through walls, they said. Searches yielded nothing. The colonel's orders for his capture went unanswered. Meanwhile, the pregnancies advanced. Doctors summoned discreetly confirmed healthy, strong babes, pale-skinned anomalies that hinted at their father. The plantation descended into operational chaos. Overseers struggled with rebellious murmurs. Tools broke without cause. At night, apparitions flickered, a tall shadow with piercing eyes. Catherine awoke screaming Elijah's name. Emily found scratches on her arms resembling ritual marks. In a pivotal confrontation, Harlan dragged both women to the whipping post, threatening to expose them publicly. "You've destroyed us!" But as he raised the lash, wind gusted unnaturally, knocking him down. The women clutched each other. "He protects us still," Catherine whispered. Revelations trickled. Elijah's backstory, pieced from traders, spoke of a lineage tracing to powerful conjurers. His seed carried not just physical prowess, but a spiritual contagion, awakening latent desires and old grudges in the land soaked with slave blood. Support came unexpectedly from within. Tilly, the maid, risked all to smuggle messages and herbs. "We all chained somehow, Ms." He showed a way out. This human connection bolstered the women's resolve amid horror. The chapter climaxed with the first labor pains, premature under stress, setting the stage for births amid supernatural turmoil. Word count, 1504. Labor struck like judgment on a humid August night. Shadow Creek's mansion echoed with screams. Catherine's first, then Emily's hours later. Midwives from the quarters under threat attended. Two sons born days apart, both with striking features, light skin, curious eyes hinting at their sire. The colonel viewed the infants with revulsion and twisted fascination. Abominations! Yet he could not bring himself to destroy them outright. The births brought fleeting joy to the mothers, mingled with terror. "They have his spirit," Emily cooed, nursing her child. Chaos amplified. Crops failed en masse. Disease swept the quarters. Whispers became audible. "He chose us." Female voices, mother and daughter's tones blended haunting corridors. Psychological toll. Catherine descended into melancholy, Emily into fierce protectiveness. They supported each other, growing through adversity. Elijah's presence manifested stronger, objects moving, visions of freedom. The babies thrived unnaturally, their cries carrying melodic undertones. Harlan's breakdown culminated in a fevered rant, revealing his own hidden shames, humanizing the drama. Word count, 1496. Years blurred into legend as Shadow Creek crumbled. The boys, raised in secrecy, carried the bloodline's weight. Catherine and Emily, forever changed, found strength in their bond and the mystic legacy. The plantation's ruins stood as testament, avoided by locals. Whispers persist. On windy nights, the voices call, promising revelations for those who listen. The spirit of Elijah roams, his choice echoing through generations, a curse of desire and awakening in the heart of Virginia's haunted past. The scandal's blood still runs, inviting the curious to uncover its depths.